What's going on, y'all squad? It's your boy Yakrates. This is your review for The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. This is season 1. This is episode 4. It was cute. It was pretty decent. Towards the end, I honestly stopped taking notes because I was just enjoying the festivities of it all. So because they start playing party games at the very end, so it's just like, like I don't know, not really a whole lot to really take notes on. But nevertheless, let's get into it. So you have Luanne flirting with Michael in French, and she's saying that she has to, it's nice to do that because her French is rusty. And we find, and if you guys watch Real Housewives of New York, she was not beating up, but she was upset with her son for not getting a passing score in French, especially with her boyfriend at the time. I forget what his name was, but he spoke fluent French. I'm pretty sure that's probably his native tongue. But then there was a point where on that season, well, one of the seasons, they was on a girl trip. She ended up hooking up with a pirate Johnny Depp looking guy, and then she was trying to explain herself to her boyfriend, and she was doing it in French. And I guess she thought that they wouldn't be able to translate it, but they did, and they gave her a hard time at the reunion because for you to be fluent for what it's worth in French, and you giving your son such a hard time, your French was hella rusty. Like it was one of those. It was almost like a French English type of thing. But again, I mean, it's languages are kind of one of those things. It's like other stuff like math. Like I was a math major. I can't do the level of math I used to do because I wasn't using it frequently. But if we go back to when I was in high school slash college, oh yeah, math was my stuff. Now I can do the basics. Yes, I can't do that. I can't do all the crazy stuff like I used to. So it's one of those perishable skills. That's what I was trying to. I was talking about it to get to that word, perishable skill. Teresa shares her cards that Louis gave her with Ramona. And she is doing this to encourage her, feels that she should be able to find love. Encourages her to go ahead and pursue. Oh boy, I forgot what his name is, but it don't really matter. Um, and even says to, and I'm sorry, Ramona had mentioned that. No, I'm sorry. So Teresa is encouraging her to shoot her shot, and Ramona mentions like, well, I can live anywhere, and part of the reason for that is, to my understanding, because again, I watched all of New York. I binge watched it a while back. It doesn't really matter, but I did watch it. But she only had one child, and I believe that child is Avery, her daughter. So she's no longer married to her ex. So and her daughter is in college, if not has already graduated college. So Ramona is on her own. So if Ramona wanted to pick up and move to Turks and Caicos, she could, and she is a self-made, very successful businesswoman. I don't like Ramona, but again, I'm one of those where, and granted, that's just based on what I see on television. But again, in general, I'll give people their props. And the fact that she has went from just being self-made and then also expanding to her alcohol beverage line, get your money. And here's the thing, it's to the point where I'm pretty sure her money can make money for itself, meaning she can appoint one or two people and let them do all the running, and she just pay them their salary, and she sit back and just chill on the island. Trust me, if I had that type of money, I'd be on the motherfucking island of Turkey too. But anyway, and see, Luann lets us know that she has a Latin lover, but there's no strings. So, and because it was like, oh, okay, with all the flirting she was doing with Michael, but she says that he's coming to the Hamptons very soon. Again, for those of you, if you okay, if you live in New York, you would understand. But in watching Real Housewives of New York, understand that when summertime hits, a lot of the is it New Yorkians? The New York folk, they got this right now. They tend to go to the Hamptons, and that's their vacation spot. Oh, normally I would have done this by now, but if fudge, y'all get to see me now. My hair ain't quite brushed and whatnot. Plus, my hair is in the in between state right now because I'm growing it back out. But that's okay. Y'all know I'm sexy as hell. What else? Okay, so the women are sitting down talking, and this is when Luann had brought up her Latin lover. And Chicago comes up because they mentioned that Erica from from Beverly Hills, my bad, I believe played Roxy, and then Cynthia brought up how two women from Atlanta, Nene and Candy, have both played on Chicago. So Atlanta got the girls, because we already know Atlanta is where it's at. Don't be fooled. Yeah, Beverly Hills got the ratings this season. And this season, because it ain't every season. All right, let's be real about the stuff. You feel like you want to feel, but we dealing with facts over here. And Teresa asked Cynthia because since they're talking about Chicago and Cynthia brought up that Nene did the Broadway Chicago, Teresa asked her about her and Nene, and she's like, "Well, we don't talk." And it's like it happened. That ship has sailed, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to sit here and say that's good for them because again, this is reality television, so there's some things that are played up, some things that are played down and whatnot. But as long as Cynthia is in a place to where she's happy, it's perfectly fine. Because you can be acquaintances, friends, whatever with someone, but when you realize that a person is toxic and that they're very self-centered, self-serving, egotistical, narcissistic, and we can sit here and run down all the dang on adjectives and whatnot. Sometimes it's just best to love that person from afar, which is like we not cool or whatnot, but I don't wish there's no ill will wish. I'm different. I'm a quote Kelly Clarkson. Never again. I would never wish bad things, but I don't wish you well. I don't wish nothing bad. I don't wish you well either. We just in the in between right now. Again, I told y'all but I am who I am. I have my flaws. But again, I will give you props when I need to. But that's it. That's where the buck stops, baby. So Teresa shares that with what happened with Cynthia and Nene, it's the same thing with her and Jacqueline because she knew Jacqueline before the show started, and with Jersey started, it was mostly good. I forget the. It was a whole family with the addition of Teresa and Danielle Staub. And then slowly but surely, it went from being the Manzos. It went from being the Manzo family to literally the Teresa show. Just is what it is. But she was cool with Jackie. Is what it is. And eventually things fell off, and she was upset that Jackie brought up her legal troubles and whatnot. And yes, of course. But what tends to happen is, especially with doing reality TV shows and whatnot, the lines sometimes get blurred between you know keeping a friendship but still bringing certain things up on the show for the show. But at the same exact time, Teresa's not as loyal as she wants others. Like she wants a undying loyalty to her, but she doesn't always extend that. So again, take that for what it is. Legal issues come up. Obviously, Teresa had just mentioned that when she was talking about Jacqueline, and then Kyle is asked about Erica. And this episode, I believe, was called Fourth Walls Down, something like that, where a lot of what happens behind the scenes was talked about, which is very refreshing for those who don't know. Because you have some people that look at us reviewers like we don't know what we're talking about when we actually do. Granted, we've never done reality television. We've been doing this for a long time where we know what it is. And Kyle, now here's the thing. Kyle is production's puppet. So whatever Kyle needs to do, she's gonna do, especially when she ain't got a storyline to first. And she ain't had a storyline for quite some time because obviously Mauricio and his woes when it comes to the whole realtor situation, we haven't discussed yet. But she pretty much said when it comes to Erica, like it's going to play itself out. And for me, what I'll do is I will ask a question so you can then explain. Meaning, I'm gonna bring something up and give you an opportunity to clear yourself. But that's not necessarily it. You're asking questions that production wants you to ask. And if y'all go back to this last episode, I'm sorry, this last season, I said episode, but this last season, Kyle didn't really ask the questions. But again, Kyle says the one thing she ain't is a liar, but you are full of it. So, so this whole day is Melissa's day. They go on the buggy tour. So I don't know if it was necessarily a tour rather than them just riding around, but I'm pretty sure it was a tour and them getting to see things. But they're all little buggies and whatnot. Some of the girls are mostly Ramona, just like, oh my gosh, like getting sand in my face and da 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 da. Like, if you're in a vehicle, like a go-kart or whatever, and there's no shield, and you're going at a certain speed, and you know what the terrain is, you should expect that you're probably going to get sand and dirt in your mouth. Like, and she's like, why can't you just be on the beach? I'm not doing this for Ramona. But before we get to that, Kyle says to Kenya, you're a good person, but it seems like you're pretty much made to be the bad person, the villain. And Kenya even mentioned that like that's how it is, and it does suck. And for those who, mind you, if you just watch Real Housewives of Atlanta and nothing else, then yes, Kenya is pretty much the villain. But if you watch other people speak on Kenya, like what Candy speak on it and other things, they have said that outside of the show, when the cameras are down, Kenya is a great person and is a great friend. Now, sometimes during filming, she ain't the best because I still don't like how she did Cynthia when it came to her trying to open a wine cellar and her questioning her knowledge. Which, again, some people tend to blur the lines when it's like, when these cameras are up, I'm making TV. When the cameras are down, we get back to the regular, but not everybody feels the same exact way, but nevertheless. And, Kenya brings up Lisa Vanderpump, and them making her out to be the villain for the last season that Lisa was on. And then we get the infamous, I forget what Lisa Vanderpump's husband's name is, but when he's like, goodbye, Kyle. And if y'all were watching my reviews for Beverly Hills, every time I would say Kyle's name, I would say, Kyle. That's what the reference was. I don't know if I've done it with the last 3 episodes of this, but if not, we're going back to Kyle. The only thing is that takes a lot on my voice to go to that particular place because it's not that it's in my baritone, but it's like a real scrap. We ain't going down there anyway. Now we're doing the whole buggy tour thing, and look, Kenya is a free spirit. If y'all watch Atlanta, y'all know Kenya is very competitive. And at the same exact time, Kenya is a free spirit. She's gonna do what she want to do when she want to do, how she want to do it. Some people were upset because she was cutting them off or whatnot, but again, this is Kenya. Now, even though this is one of those where it is somebody's personality, and am I giving that person a pass? No, because I have my things about me, and it's my personality. But does that make it right? And should things be overlooked? No. But again, it just is what it is. But this is what Kenya gives. And they were trying to make it seem like, oh my gosh, she's cutting us off and this and this and this. Y'all were not going to be hurt. Bravo was not going to let y'all be hurt. Not on this girl's trip. Like, let's be very clear. I was upset because I think it was Melissa that was asking the guy, oh, are these helmets sanitized? Y'all really think Bravo going to let y'all put some unsanitized helmets on? Y'all really think Bravo is going to let y'all intentionally get sick? Come on now. Y'all doing too much. So now they're at lunch. And we again are getting the breaking of that fourth wall because Melissa was saying, when we go to these restaurants, and revealed, even though most of us knew this, when they go to these different restaurants, Bravo pays for it. And at the same time of them doing that, obviously there's a discounted rate, even though this wasn't said, but there's a discounted rate because what they're doing is most of the time when they film, they show the establishment. And the establishment is getting, even though they may be getting paid at a reduced rate, you're getting this publicity because we're putting you on the map. And they encourage them to hurry up and order, primarily the drinks, but hurry up and order so they can get that in the shot. Because I'm pretty sure that's part of the contractual agreement they have with that particular establishment. But of course, with them hurrying up to order the drinks, hurry up order the drinks once you sit down. So y'all can get liquored up so we can get us a good produced scene. They didn't say that, but we know what it is. So Luanne wanted them to play a game called The Good, Bad, and Ugly of Reality Television. And each of the ladies pulled a question. 2, 4, 6. We got just about all the women. We might have been missing one. Doesn't really matter. So I think Melissa was the only one that we didn't get that put a question. Nevertheless, Kyle's was, how has the show affected your relationships? And she pretty much mentioned that her relationship with Mauricio has gotten stronger, but you do have a lot of women that come on the shows where there's already cracks in the foundation in the relationship, and many of them come on the show hoping that this is like their swan song or this is their emancipation type of situation to where There's already trouble there, and they know they're on the cusp of a divorce. So coming on this show, they can find their independence outside of the relationship. I think that was a jab at Camille, because you know her and Kelsey, and I'm pretty sure Kelsey's son was able to do it because they were getting ready to have a little separation ship, but they ain't none of my business. But my only question is, why didn't you mention because you mentioned your relationship with your husband. Why did you bring up Kathy and Kim? She conveniently didn't talk about that, but okay. Teresa's was no, I'm sorry. I think Teresa also wasn't asked one, but Teresa was asked in her confessional if she can go back 12 years, and this is before all the financial and everything happened. Would you still have made the choice to come to reality television, not to leave your husband, but to do reality television? And she pretty much said, with the way that my life is right now, I couldn't see it being any other way. So yeah. But that's also one of those where that's a hard question, because obviously, how can I explain it? You really have to, because what a lot of people fail to realize, you have to ask yourself, are you willing to go through everything that you went through to get to where you are now? I'll be honest, there are certain moments where if you ask me that, and depending on certain, critical, moments in my life, I probably would say no. I would probably say no, because it's just like, do I really want to have to go through a lot of what I went through, sleepless nights, and certain thoughts racing through my mind, like, I don't know. But anyway, let's see. Cynthia was asked, like, for her, what are the perks of being on reality television? Hers was, meeting all these different women and becoming friends, because had it not been for this particular franchise or the umbrella of the franchise, Real Housewives, her being able to meet all these different people, because if it wasn't for this, with the life that she lived, she probably wouldn't have, and she was still an active model when she came onto the show. And this was when Cynthia was pencil thin. So with her constantly up and moving and doing modeling and whatnot, she probably wouldn't have met these women in an ideal world. So there's that. Ramona, how do your kids feel about you doing reality television? And long story short, it was just Avery saying that she should have been on reality television. She should have been the star, which I believe Avery is probably Generation Z. So I can see that just with how everything plays itself out. And also the whole coming down on the parents for, trying to dress outside of their particular age group and acting a certain way and blah, blah, blah. Kenya, pretty much was just, how are you affected, I guess, by the show? And hers was more or less the comments on social media and how her first year was the pits. Though you did contribute partially to, some of what you got the first season. Messing around with him. Well, not messing around, but flirting with a married man. But, she even says it's like social media, because again, everything was still kind of, gearing up and revving up around that time when she came on. Like, social media existed, but it was still catching its footing, because where social media is now compared to what it was when she first came on Atlanta, two totally different beasts. Like, if social media now was what it was then, yeah, it crazy. And Walter came up and, being paid to, be her man on the show. And she said that she never did. She raised her right hand. I can't say whether it's true or not, but again, social media can be, it can be. Social media is a you know what. And regardless of where you are in life, you put yourself out there. You put yourself out there to be judged. And people on social media, a lot of people are miserable. So they find solace, they find pleasure in knowing that I was able to be mean spirited, whatnot, to take you down. A lot of the times it's just because they live a very unfulfilled life. So if I can bring somebody else down to my level, everything is great and all to the good. Whatever. Luanne's question is, what's the worst thing to happen to you on the show? And she didn't really talk about what was the worst thing, but she was talking about the overall experience, and just says, a lot of it is just staying alive, keeping your sanity against the trolls and that whole thing, which is understandable. And again, me doing YouTube, I understand it. You know what I'm saying? But again, I go where I'm celebrated and not tolerated or, manipulated and all the other stuff. Take that for what it is. So the back of the house, Melissa's getting ready for a sleepover, so this is the last part of her day. Is a girls' night sleepover, which overall it was cute. It was cute. And she's stuffing some envy bags. Now, if you don't watch New Jersey, you wouldn't catch what that is. That was a silent placeholder marketing. I don't think I said that right. But pretty much Envy is her boutique. So she has the Envy bags there that she is stuffing because that is her boutique. So this is one of those where I'm not going to talk about it, but this is a placeholder for a business that I have, which is similar to what Ramona did for her best friend. But again, and this is also one of those where, it's that type of marketing where, everybody may not catch it, but you might have a few people not look at that bag like, Envy? What type of bag is that? And then go online and look for it. So, yeah. She goes around distributing the bags. She stops at Kenya's room and, is on her knees and whatnot, the whole, oh, she's the queen and this and that, and, oh, I'm just a peasant, and, I haven't been up here because, I'm in the lower quarters, and da-da-da-da. Gives her the bag and whatnot, and she gets ready to leave, and Kenya said, you did not kiss the ring, and she was like, F you and your ring. That was cute. That was cute. It was funny, so it was like playing it along, and of course, Kenya loves the whole royalty thing because I believe it was, if I'm wrong about what pageant it was, just politely correct me because we don't need to go there. But I believe it was Miss USA. So of course Kenya has that air about her. It is what it is. So the party is beginning to start. You have Kenya having a moment in her room. She is crying. Kyle hears it and visits her. And she comes in and closes the door immediately, which is important to realize. And Kenya's pretty much just saying, like, she was conversing with her soon-to-be ex-husband via text. And he brought up how he wishes they can go back to when they first met, how good things were. And that sent her into a tizzy because it's just like, you want to go back to a good time, but the only reason that we're in the position that we're at is because you brought us here. So you're the author of all of this, chaos. And that made me think of Heather Headley's I Wish I Wasn't. When she says, I wish I can go back to the day before we met to escape our regret. I'm pretty sure Kenya probably wishes that, but then at the same time, no, because then she wouldn't have broken. So nevertheless, so Cynthia hears what's going on there. So she goes in and she opens the door, but she leaves the door open. And Kenya is kind of looking at her, just like, girl, close the fucking door. Because she's having a moment. And obviously, and I understand Kenya. Because if I'm not mistaken, Kenya's in Aquarius, I'm a Capricorn. But because, it's kind of the overlap there, I understand it. Because here's the reality. Like, it's seldom you will catch me having a vulnerable moment. But I do have them. When I do have them, I don't want other people to see it. Because, of course, people will take that, use it as ammo, and come back ready to sit here and... So, I understood it. And I think for Cynthia... Because Cynthia had a camera with her, and so did Kyle. But Kyle quickly closed the door. Cynthia didn't. Now, I don't know if Cynthia was low-key still being a little bit, in her feelings because of what happened previously. But, yeah, she should have just closed the door. She really just should have. Cynthia and Kyle at one point talk about Mark, and this is independent of them being with Kenya. And Cynthia says, well, Mark is a good person, but they're not good for each other now. I can't let Cynthia slide on that. Now, it's one thing if you only know one side of a story and you don't know both sides, because when Kenya was with her other ex, I forget what the boy name was, Cynthia actually took time out during the season on camera to talk to him. I think it was Matt, and get his side. I'm pretty sure she might have Mark's side. But to sit here and say he's a good person, in the general scheme, probably, but in terms of just what she's seen, you have not only seen what he's done to your friend, you've been able to watch the season back and see all of what he has done to your friend. Does that make him a good person? Of what he is putting your friend through? And that also doesn't show that you have any loyalty towards your friend. Nevertheless, and let me go ahead and wrap this up because I'm giving y'all a whole lot, even though this episode did not give us a whole lot, I'm giving y'all a whole lot. So They play a list of games. One of them was like a twister type of shots, bobbing for shots, where literally you got to spread yourself out, bend yourself down, use your mouth, pick up the shot glass, and then bring it up without spilling it. It was interesting. Showed us a whole lot. Kenya split her drink. And Kenya made a reference to somebody being able to do very certain oral things with their mouth on big objects. I think that was a stab at Portia. Michael decides that he was going to do something special for Luanne. I think Luanne's drink was not alcoholic. It had to have been because she hasn't been drinking. So Michael, now his thing, Michael, you try to get your 15 minutes, bro, and you married. But he pretty much lays down with the shot in his mouth for Luanne, and Luanne straddled him and was able to go. Now here's the thing: the other, I might have to play it back, but I think she just straddled him, bent down, was able to get it out of his mouth, took the shot, went back, gave him a kiss. It was cute. The girls end up putting some mouth things in. I was like, you're in a dentist's office, and they had to try to read off a phrase, and other people guess it. It looked crazy seeing the women look like that. I don't know if I could have done that. Like, y'all not gonna have me looking crazy on camera. I don't know. But let me see. Ramona end up, relieving herself on herself. We don't know how bad it was. Kyle did it too, and I mean that was pretty much it. But it was a good feel-good episode, and this is one of those episodes where it takes me back to Real Housewives of Atlanta and what it used to be. Just in the very beginning, where there was light shade, and there were moments where things got intense, but it wasn't us just going for the jugular the whole entire time, and there were a lot of feel-good moments that make sense. So this was good. So for those of you who watch, please let me know how you feel. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. I will be back for episode 5. And of course, don't forget to catch me and my other friends on the Whether You Like It or Not Potomac panel. For tonight, this is the season finale. We don't know when the clip show is coming. We don't know. Hopefully next week, but it might be the week after because we also have to compensate for whatever clips that will come out of tonight. If you guys still have clips that you would like to be in the clip show, please send it to Josiah's World TV, or send it to me and I'll send it to him because he's going to do the compilation video. And when it finally airs, we're all going to be in the comments and just have a good time, laughing at all of the crazy moments from for season 2 of the Whether You Like It or Not panel for the Potomac edition. So that's all that I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you guys. I'm going to say momentarily, but it's going to take me like an hour and a half to watch and take my notes and then everything. But I'll see you guys back very soon for episode 5. All right, I'm done talking. Bye. Get out of here. Go home.